Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the From the Stands podcast. I'm here with yet another episode with my good buddy Stallone on this 5th day of September, coming at you hot on the very first day of the NFL season.
Yes, sir. Let's
Finally
go.
here. It's finally fall, and actually fall in Greenville. It's actually been a little bit chillier, which has been nice. So
Super nice.
I am pumped. Fall is my favorite season, and I am super pumped to have a lot of the sports back up and running, especially football. But before we jump right into those sports, Fezzy boy, baby
Yeah.
Cochran is here.
Baby Cochran is
Woo!
here, and he is wildin', bro. He's been keeping his mom and I up, but dude, I love that little boy so much. But yeah, he was born August 29th, so early. He was due on the 3rd of September, but he decided that he wanted to be in the world earlier. So, but no, it's been a good.
Not going the Cochran way with that one, huh?
Not going the Cochran way. He has more of my wife in him for sure. But no, we're super pumped, super happy. Yeah, the last week, he's a week old now. Has been crazy for sure. Like a lot of late nights for sure.
Any like stories or anything like
stories?
Brief, like I don't know, anything you want to share right off the bat? I mean, he's only been around a week, but
he's a very active baby. Like he will, if he's sleeping, he won't move a lot. But like he'll do this thing where he'll be like sleeping, and then all of a sudden he'll just go, and then go back like that, like just out of the blue. It's so funny. Do you know the raccoon meme? Like when they're like sneaking across the patio, they're like act normal, and the one raccoon's like this, literally does that in the middle of like he'll just be sleeping and just go. It's That's so funny. So funny. Awesome. But no, he's great. We love him. Just kind of trying to get into a routine because obviously I'm not used to this at all. Yeah. Still a little surreal, but you know,
have the parents been down yet or anything? Or
yep. So Taylor's family was here for his birth.
Oh wow. They got done there early, huh?
Yeah, and now now her mom and sister are here. Her dad went back home because he had work stuff, and then my parents will be here next weekend. So,
sweet, dude. That's awesome.
So, yep, good stuff. It begins. And on top of that, it's just a big week for the boys. Yesterday marked 1 year of the pod, Sammy.
That's right.
1 full year. I mean, that's kind of wild, like considering, like
that is pretty
what are we
good.
on, episode 37? Something like
Sounds
that?
right. 36 or 7, something like that.
So technically we've only missed, what? How many weeks is that? Well, there's 52 weeks in a year.
52, yeah.
So my math is not math. Was that 15 weeks 15, we've missed?
Yeah. Yep.
Perfect. Sam's the numbers guy for sure.
That's not that bad if you include like math. Yeah, if you include like holidays and just some random weeks in there where we couldn't do it, it's not not terrible.
That's not bad at all. I was watching a video on podcasts the other day, and they said that most podcasts don't make it past 10 episodes. I was like, oh, we're doing pretty good. He's like, the guy said if you make it past 10 episodes, you're in like the top 10%. I was like, well, look at us go, Sammy.
Pretty
look
good.
at us
now
go.
We just got to get the viewers after that, right?
On the up and up. That's right. But
cool.
No, we got a good big long podcast for you guys today. Hopefully not too long. We got a game to watch after this, right, Sammy?
That's right.
Big game. But yeah, we'll be highlighting that game, the start of the NFL season, as well as Premier League and La Liga and Bundesliga in full swing, and some college football. You ready to get into it?
Let's get into it.
Let's get it. The long wait is over. The NFL season is finally here, kicking off tonight with the Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to see if the Chiefs can go 3-peat. Never been done before. Would be absolutely wild. Low-key rooting for it because I just like good stories. Hate the Chiefs, though. but low-key rooting for it. But before we dive into that, Sammy boy, your Cowboys finally getting it done. CeeDee Lamb signs a new deal with the Cowboys, 4 years, $136 million. What say you?
Yeah, man, about time. Only took him the whole offseason, really.
Right.
Typical Jerry waiting until the last minute to pay his players the absolute most money that he can give them for whatever reason. But yeah, just happy it's done. Finally show up to a little bit of our training camp there. Honestly, my biggest concern now is that he missed so much time that he's gonna be slow come the start of the season and everything. Hopefully he won't get injured because he's out of shape or anything like that. But hopefully he's been obviously staying up with that and everything. But very, very happy to have him, just because he's going to be a huge, if not the vocal point of the offense this year, obviously. So it's huge to have him back. I know he put a lot of fantasy owners to rest, uh, signing that
Right.
contract, just guaranteeing that. I actually don't have him in any of my fantasy leagues this year, but we can touch
Yeah.
on that a little bit later.
Yeah, I was good. I was gonna say
But
who grabbed him.
go ahead.
Who grabbed him?
I don't remember who grabbed him.
I can't remember who grabbed him. That's wild.
I can't even remember
Um,
either. Maybe we'll check
yeah,
later.
yeah, but
But I
that's
think
huge.
it's funny because now that CD is signed, now the shift goes to Dak, and all I'm seeing on my phone now are notifications of like Dak's in talks. Dak is going to test free agency. Oh wait, he's actually like coming. Blah 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 blah. So like it's just the one thing after another for the Cowboys. They can't stay out of the headlines, which is actually what Jerry wants. But no, very very happy for Lamb being on our team this year. So
Yeah,
hype for
for
that.
sure. Yeah, that's huge for you guys. I mean, honestly, if you guys didn't sign him, your season was going to be even more rough than some people are saying it's going to
Exactly.
be.
Including me.
Yeah, because your backfield is a mess.
I know. We signed
Like
Dalvin Cook though.
you did get Dalvin Cook, and I did
About
have
about
that
4 years too late, but
4 years too late. But that is a good pickup. You definitely needed to. You needed
yeah,
someone else,
we
dude.
need our second string was Rico Dowdle, so
Yeah, like like who's that?
exactly.
Like
He's
who's
I
that?
think he went to school at, like South Carolina, has been in the league like 2, 3, like no one knows who he is.
Yeah,
So
no one knows who it is. Keeping it in signings, Brandon Ayuk and Trent Williams both figured it out at the 49ers, staying with the 49ers. Huge
hmm
for them. Again, kind of the same deal with Ayuk. If the 49ers don't sign him, their offense kind of takes a step back for sure.
yeah,
You probably
definitely not
saw
as
these.
stacked.
Yeah, you probably saw these signings. What is your feeling around this news?
Yeah, I mean, obviously huge for the 49ers to pick those guys up on renewed contracts. I thought it was going to be pretty interesting to see a non-stacked 49ers team for once to see how they do. Maybe Trent Williams going somewhere else. Ayuk, there's pretty heavy. I think he really really wanted to leave and go somewhere else, but the suitors that he had for him, we talked about this a few weeks back. I think the Browns were in there, the Patriots, just not really what he wanted.
Hmm.
Which I mean, if I was him, I wouldn't trade the 49ers for the Browns or the Patriots, no matter how much money they're offering. So,
Right.
yeah, I think it's smart of him to stay there. I think it was interesting. I saw a little snippet of an interview saying of him in a press conference afterwards, just saying that he probably could have handled things a lot differently and been more, a little bit more understanding and more reasonable, blah blah blah, which I thought was interesting, just because you don't really see that from players after a negotiation like that. So I just thought that was an interesting thing, part of the whole process. So
Yeah, for sure. I was seeing some things on Trent Williams. I forgot the player, but it was their rookie got like shot in the chest like a few weeks ago, right?
yeah, Ricky Pearsall, I believe his name is. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Pearsall. Yeah, that's wild, dude. Just home
insane.
invasion gone wrong.
Typical San Fran though. Let's be honest,
Yeah,
Shane.
for sure, for sure. But I saw Trent Williams was saying that was kind of a
I did
factor in
see
him
that.
staying,
hmm
because he really respected the rookie because he was I guess a stand-up guy, introduced himself to a lot of the locker room
Yeah,
and
he was a
didn't really.
first round pick, wasn't he? First or second?
I think he was their second round
So
pick.
that's a pretty big
Yeah.
loss for them, at least in the rookie ranks. But
They're saying he could play week 5 though.
yeah,
Like
I
that's
heard
kind
that
of insane.
I heard the place that he got shot, like it was technically like in the chest area, but it wasn't like, vital
So it could have been
organs or
like
anything like
it
that.
like up
So
higher but chest area.
yeah,
So
something like
more like
that.
shoulder. Not saying getting like I've never been shot. So like I'm
Shoulder,
not
no
trying.
big deal.
I'm not like, oh yeah, just take one like take it in the chin, back up, bud. But it sounds like he kind of did though. Like
Yeah.
low key.
I
That's
saw a video of him like walking around after he got shot and stuff. So like as it happened,
yeah,
but so tough dude sounds like, but
yeah, dude.
um
It takes a different animal to play in the NFL. Like
yeah,
like these dudes know pain and they don't care.
it's true. What do they say?
Um,
It's like a car wreck every time these guys get hit.
yeah, dude. Like
Isn't
no
that
wonder they're
insane?
jacked up when they retire. Like
Yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah.
Moving along, like we said, Sammy Boy, opening night is here,
Mm,
and like
can't
a
wait.
really good opening night game too. Rematch of the AFC Championship game a year ago. Seeing the Ravens take on the Chiefs. I think it's a home game for the Ravens, if I believe, right?
No, it's
In
at the
Baltimore.
Chiefs. Nope,
Is that the
it's at the
Chiefs?
Chiefs. Yep.
You're right. You're right.
Come
I
on,
was
man. We're not
watching
gonna
Stephen.
gyp the Super Bowl champs like that.
That's right. I don't know why. I was
That
listening to Stephen A. and you know what? I remember now that I was listening to him. He was like, "Yeah, the Ravens are going into uh, Arrowhead." And I was like,
I just always remember that because more often than not they'll put the Super Bowl champs on opening night and like they're gonna get them at home every time. So
"Right,
but
right." I had this question in the doc, and I wanted to hear your answer. Lamar this past week had some comments about this being a revenge game. Obviously, like you always want to win, but this one just having a little bit more meaning. Knocked them out of the conference championship game last year. And Lamar, that coveted Super Bowl, kind of needs that to solidify himself as one of the greats. Do you think this is a big game and a good tone center for both teams, like no matter who wins?
yeah, I mean absolutely. Like the Ravens are obviously gonna feel some type of way of getting knocked out of the playoffs by the Chiefs when they were at home as the Ravens had the number one seed, correct? Last year. I think they had the number
Yes.
one seed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So obviously they're going to feel some type of way after a huge MVP season by Lamar last year, and get knocked out. But obviously they have a revamped new backfield with Derrick Henry on their team now, and got a couple new pieces. Lamar's apparently lost weight and is faster somehow now. So
That's
they
wild.
they've got some good pieces there and everything. So obviously they're gonna try to make a statement right here off the bat. But on the other side, the Chiefs are even better than they were last year. They've gained some really good players in some key positions, namely wide receiver, especially with Xavier Worthy, Marquise Brown, who Marquise Brown won't play this game, but
Uh-huh.
they got a couple other really good players. They've lost a couple guys, especially on the defensive side, but um, people are saying that this Chiefs team is the best it's been in the last 3 years, and they're coming off back-to-back Super Bowl. That's going to be scary hours
Wild.
for the rest of the league. So yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
expected a really
last
good
year,
game to be honest.
yeah, last year, down year, still win the Super
It's
Bowl.
insane.
I mean, the only thing that might take a step back because they lost some players, what is their defense? But like, dude, all the other years they've won, they haven't had like the best defense in the league.
Mm-hmm.
They just put out up outrageous points and can score at will. And like,
Yeah,
they have like an all right defense, and then their offense is just crazy. Like, I mean, there's no reason
yeah.
that they can't.
They they lost L'Jarius Sneed though to Tennessee, and
Yeah,
that's
that's
a big loss
huge,
for them from last year.
huge.
But they've still got a good defense for sure. But the only thing last thing I'll add to the Chiefs here is I was listening to Mike Greenberg. I like to listen to him a lot
Old
on his
Greeny.
podcast. Yeah. And he basically did the first like 30 minutes of just going into the Chiefs, like basically player by player, or the top three guys like Mahomes, Kelsey, and Andy Reid. I guess Andy Reid's not a player, but you know what I mean. And
Hmm.
they were just going in like if they were to win a third straight and like another Super Bowl, like what it would mean for each one of those guys' legacies. And it's just crazy kind of what's on the line. Obviously Mahomes still has tons of time, but Kelsey's getting a little bit up there. Andy Reid, you don't know. I mean, he might coach another 10 years, he might coach another 3, but just how
Uh-huh.
huge in like the legacies of each one of these guys it would be to win a third in a row, like unprecedented, never happened before. No one's ever
Yeah,
done it. So not just getting another ring, but getting a third in a row would be absolutely massive for each one of these guys' legacies. So
yeah, huge, huge. They'd be just big time. And it would solidify them as. I mean, if they went back to back, like back to back to back, three-peat, it would definitely solidify them as like one of, if not the greatest NFL teams in
yeah,
NFL history. Like, I
yeah.
mean, like the argument kind of ends with that. Like, wouldn't you say?
I mean, I wouldn't say it ends there, but it gives them huge ground to stand on for sure. I mean, never Mahomes, just because of the guy he's got to go up against, and Brady, he's still got a little ways to go just because Brady played till he was like 55, and it's like he went to I think 9 Super Bowls, won 7, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And then Andy Reid's going up against Belichick, same kind of thing. They are actually saying that Andy Reid has more of a claim probably to the greatest coach status if he wins this third one, just because Belichick only did it with Mahomes. I mean, with Brady, and Andy Reid's obviously done all of his Super Bowl with Mahomes, but He was really good with Philadelphia early on in his career, made it to a Super Bowl and stuff like that. And then with Kelsey as well, they said that if he, unless he takes a huge step back, which he did a little bit last year, he still had almost 1,000 yards as a tight end. He'd basically put his name up there with basically the best tight ends in the NFL. So
Yeah, for sure. For sure, for sure. All right, Sammy boy, I put this in the pod doc. I want to hear from you, and then I'll give you mine. I want us to do way too early picks of the conference, like the two teams in the conference championship games. Who wins those goes to the Super Bowl and wins the Super Bowl.
oh
So,
boy, oh boy,
uh, yeah,
this just
way
opens
too
the
early
door for
picks.
just slander when
Outrageous.
it's late in this season and like none of these picks pan out.
Yeah,
All right,
exactly. Like we get all four wrong.
yeah, in the AFC,
Mhm.
I can't do it, man. I can't go against the Chiefs. I'm gonna say Chiefs get there again.
Yeah.
If they did it last year with the roster they had, they're gonna get there again with this year's roster, unless they lose Patrick Mahomes to injury or something like that. But I will say, um, the other teams are coming. I mean, we got Bengals with Joe Burrow, Lamar's obviously just talked about him and his offense and stuff. But I think the Jets might get there, man.
Ooh,
AFC
really?
Chiefs Jets, baby. Chiefs Jets.
Okay.
And
Sammy boy.
I'm going on a little bit of a limb there just because I just mentioned two other teams that could probably easily beat the Jets, but I don't know. I just have a feeling that they're gonna do something. So that's kind of my
Interesting.
risky pick just because I didn't want to be typical like, oh yeah, Ravens Chiefs or whatever. Um,
Right, right.
but yeah, I think if Aaron Rodgers can put it together, I mean they have all the pieces, dude. Their defense
Oh
is
yeah.
top 5 in the league. They have wide receiver. They got Garrett Wilson. Their backfield with Brees Hall. They've got a revamped offensive line. They could just keep Aaron Rodgers upright. I think he can take him a long way. So we'll see. But then in the NFC, bro, I have no idea who's gonna come out of there.
Dude, I agree with that. Like I took a look at this today. And obviously like me with the kid, I have so much more time. Like you had work today. So like obviously so I like actually like took a look at this and I was like, dude, who out of the NFC
I
like
know, bro.
like other than like the main ones, like you look at 49ers and like the Eagles. And
Yeah.
like you could say the Cowboys, but their record, you just look at their
Yeah.
past and you're like, that's hard to say. But anyways,
Even when
continue.
we have a good team, we still manage to choke. But I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 49ers get back again. And I
Okay.
think I'm
Yep.
gonna take the Packers to reach the
Okay.
NFC
Wow.
championship game. That's a little one that's a little bit off the beaten path as well. But I think again, if they could play up to their full potential, they got Jordan Love, they got two or three really good receivers out there now, and they got Josh Jacobs in their backfield now, and their defense is always at least average. So I think they could make a good run, and the 49ers obviously getting there as well. I think the 49ers have to be the favorites to get there, maybe right
Have to.
behind the Eagles,
Oh
or
yeah,
sorry, the Eagles are
absolutely.
right behind them, but um, that's who I see in there for sure. So
Like it.
what
I
about
like it.
you
What
before
about
we get into
me?
the Super Bowls?
Before we get into the Super Bowls. All right. AFC. Obviously AFC just stacked. Like you really I mean, all right. First and foremost, I'm like you. Gotta take the Chiefs. Undoubtedly.
You
Chiefs getting
can't bet
back.
against him at this point. We've done it
You
for three
can't.
straight years, and
Like you can't. Like what can you say that they haven't like gone through and
right.
gotten through to get there? So I go Chiefs, obviously. And then
Hmm.
my second pick in the AFC, Houston. I picked yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, I picked Houston because
Okay.
I think if they reloaded, obviously got some weapons this year, and their quarterback,
They
why am I
definitely
blanking on his name?
reloaded.
Not Love,
C.J.
Stroud.
Stroud.
Thank you, Stroud. No, if he can be as good as he was last year, or even be better, if he's better, then like I think this pick isn't too far fetched.
Hmm. What about
But
that
if he's just
sophomore
as good,
slump? What do you got to say about that?
I mean, if he has the sophomore slump, maybe some of the weapons even that out. Who knows?
Mm.
I don't
Joe
know. This
Mixon
is
at
just
running back now.
true. But no, I think they're a sleeper, kind of a sleeper team on the fringe. But I think they could make it really interesting. I was kind of like looking through the teams. I was like, they could beat all these teams. So I think they make a run. I think they get to the championship game, and then obviously come up short against
I
the tried and true.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about them to be completely honest. When they have Diggs and Mixon on their offense,
Yeah.
it's gonna be crazy.
So
So
there's a lot of variables with them. Like obviously the Chiefs are tried and true. So like like we said, we don't bet against them. But Houston, there's a lot of upside. So like a way too early pick that's not out of the realm of possibility.
can I stop you just for a second?
Yeah.
Um, I just think it's super interesting that the Bills aren't even like in our vernacular right now. They've kind of fallen off
Dude, like just not
so
even the
much, like
peripheral at
not even in
all.
the top like three, four, five teams we're really talking about. So I mean, not that we're
Exactly.
geniuses or anything, but
Yeah, like what do we know?
yeah, but they
But
lost Diggs. They didn't look as great at the end of last year. So
yeah,
yeah, I
I
don't know.
mean, they were a missed field goal away from beating the
True.
Chiefs and going to
Mm,
the AFC Championship game.
very
And
true.
I don't know if they would have beaten the Ravens, but who knows? All right, NFC, I have same as you, 49ers. Obviously, I think that's just like if we're picking who's going to be there, you got to pick the 49ers. Best roster, maybe in, I wouldn't say all of football, but definitely top 5 roster in
On
football.
paper, for sure.
On
Yeah.
on paper, for sure. If McCaffrey can stay healthy and just have the numbers that he has, re-signed Ayuk, re-signed Trent Williams, so they're good to go. They'll be back. My not so much a sleeper team, but like kind of under the radar, Rams. I got the Rams.
Ooh.
Yeah. I got the Rams having a good season.
Okay.
And I mean, they were a player or two away from getting further in the playoffs last year. They kind of turned it on at the end, and they just have such a good McVay is such a good coach. Stafford is the model of consistency. And Cooper Kupp, Puka Nakua,
You got
they
two
got
wide
Corum.
receiver ones. Yeah.
Yeah, they got Corum coming in. Like, if he can be productive, and they
And
got
he's
Kyron
behind
Williams.
Kyron Williams. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, I mean, low key stacked.
Hmm.
Now, obviously, their defense takes a step back. They lost what was their edge rusher?
Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald. So obviously it'll take a little bit of step back, but dude, their offense and McVay, I
Interesting.
wouldn't bet against them. So
Interesting.
like that's my sleeper coming out of the NFC for sure. And
I
then,
like
but I
it.
got a rematch of the 49ers and Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
So those are my
Cool.
picks.
Cool.
I can give you who I think will win.
Go for it.
I think it's probably the same for both of us, but I mean, I can't, like, biggest game, biggest stage. If Patty Mahomes is there, he's finding a way, man. He's finding
Yeah.
a way to do it. And I think they three-peat. Like I said, low key rooting for it. Hate it, but low key rooting for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, we're pretty boring because I got them as well. I feel like that's kind of a safe pick, but I mean that's the way
Yeah,
too early. Way too early picks are going to be boring anyway. I think so.
right.
But yeah, if they can get out of that AFC, that crowded AFC, then I think they could probably beat anybody that comes out of the NFC. But that would
Yeah,
be crazy to have a rematch of a Super Bowl. When's the last time we had
yeah.
that? I don't really know, but
Like back to
um,
back. Yeah, I don't know. Like we've had plenty of teams like be in like a ton of Super
hmm
Bowls, but like never like the same one
yeah,
back to back. Yeah, that's
yep,
interesting. Yeah, you have to look that up. I wish we had a little fact checker to like look up these little stats. Like, when's the last time this happened? Tell us in our
right,
headphones. But when we're big time, we will.
yeah, we'll hire somebody.
All right, rounding off this segment of the episode. Obviously, Sammy Boy and I play fantasy, and we lucked out, and we're facing each other week 1, Sammy Boy.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right, I
sir.
think you're projected to beat me by like 2 to 4 points or something like that. I actually haven't looked at it in a little bit. Let me pull it
Interesting.
up
Let
real
me,
quick.
yeah.
Did you I did see that I had a notification where it was like you have a bench
As of
player that's projected to outscore, and I was like, oh, I should probably put that guy in.
yeah,
For
right
all
at
you newbies, look at your bench and make sure that you don't have someone outscoring your starter.
yeah.
That's
As of right
my
now,
tip.
I'm projected to beat you by 3 points. But we'll see what the final
We'll see.
final teams
Who's
are and
projected?
everything.
Kirk
But
Kirk Cousins. What?
those projections though are like so whack because like obviously you'll have
Yeah.
like a receiver down there that's like point 0.2 projected points over your starting wide receiver. And it's like this guy's projected more. I was like, dude,
Yeah.
like what is that
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things? 2 yards? Like
Exactly.
it's not
Exactly.
gonna. And more often than not, it doesn't come down to point 0.2 points. So,
Right. Exactly. And I
but
don't even
we'll
see
see.
who's My I only have one I don't even know. I think it's just.
What are you
Oh,
trying to
it
say?
might. You know what? It's probably in the other league. I keep forgetting I'm in another league. So, which Sam and I are both in, but we're not
Where are my
playing each other
players,
week 1.
guys?
Yeah, I don't like where the dude. I low key like my other league. My other like I got Lamar, Travis Kelsey, and I got Cooper Cup. Yeah, I did get Cooper Cup. No, but I have
Yeah, I like my team in the
Brees
other
Hall.
ones as
Brees Hall.
well.
That's what I've got. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew what I was doing way more in the other one. I was like, oh, this is how it's gonna go. Okay.
Hmm.
But there were less people in that like there's some people in that I feel like don't watch a lot of football. Like I'm
Yeah,
not trying to be mean
definitely.
at all, but I'm
No,
just like
100%. There's a couple
I'm
guys
like
in there just go
who
for the first of all, there's like two people in there that don't really play fantasy, so they're taking like defenses in the third round and whatnot. And then there's another guy who just like he just takes um his favorite teams like players and stuff like or his favorite college teams players. I'm like, dude, what's going on?
right.
But
Exactly.
since we're doing
Exactly.
predictions, what is your prediction for our matchup this weekend?
This week. I think you beat me, but I think it's gonna be like way closer than it actually
Than
is.
it has been in the past.
Yeah, like blowout after blowout for Fezzi. Like
Yeah.
not in a good way, me getting blown out. Like when I played Brandon,
Yeah.
what did I lose by like 60 or something like that? It was
Something
something
like that, dude.
stupid.
Something crazy.
Something stupid. But I was the only one last season to beat Brandon as well. Not the only one, but one like I weirdly beat him. It's all it's so weird. I saw this meme and it was just like football's back and it's the time of year where grown men let 8 random dudes affect their happiness for an entire
Facts.
weekend. I'm just
So
like
facts.
I don't care about it that much, but I will be upset. I will
Yeah.
be upset. I
I've
get
seen
more and more
memes.
upset because I try harder, and so like the
Yeah.
more effort I put in, I'm like I'm more invested, and so
That's
my
good though.
feelings get more
That's what we
invested.
want. I
Is
saw a
that what
meme
you
that's
want?
similar to that. It's like football and soccer are both back, so it's like they're gonna let 11 random dudes kicking a ball dictate their happiness. So
Dude,
I'm in that
for
camp, just so
sure.
everyone knows.
Yes, we
100% in
are, and
there.
that's why we have this podcast so we can show you
But
guys that we care and we can vent our frustrations, even though our Sam can't. Sam's team's not super frustrating. My team can't even figure out who's. Well, we did figure out who's starting quarterback for us, but that's neither here nor there. All right. Well, that's going to be it for the NFL portion of this segment. Moving along to some college football. We had last week was week 0, technically. Week 1 in full swing.
so dumb.
Sammy Boy, you are a Clemson fan, correct?
I mean,
Loki.
bandwagon kind of second
Well,
team because they're
that
the closest team
counts.
to the Greenville area. Yeah,
Well,
sure.
that counts. All right. Did you watch the Georgia game?
I did.
Yeah,
Yeah, this was basically the first
exactly.
college game that was worth watching, except for that first FSU game. But yeah,
Uh,
pretty ugly.
it was bad, dude.
Very ugly.
Oh, Dabo, what are we doing,
Yeah,
bro?
Dabo, he was taking shots after this game. Yeah, it actually wasn't too bad of a first half. I think they were only
No.
down 6-0, I want to say, at the end of the first half. So
Yeah, it wasn't
their
bad.
defense was coming in clutch for sure, but Georgia Bulldogs just imposing their will, showing why they're the number one team in the country once again. Um, but that's kind of what I've heard from some of the so-called experts and stuff is kind of be the story of Clemson's season that their defense will keep them in games, and we'll see what the offense is about. But yeah, they got smoked for sure. And Dabo taking all the slings and arrows for not using the transfer portal. Apparently, Clemson's the only team to not start a transfer outside the military schools. So Air
Wow.
Force, Navy, and Army obviously not going to get transfers because they're not there for just football. And Clemson's
Right.
the only other team that hasn't started a transfer.
Yeah, that's
Did you
crazy,
watch the
dude.
game?
I did. I watched the first 3 quarters. When
Mm-hmm.
it started getting ugly, and you're just like, okay, there's better things to do today.
Yeah,
Um,
right. Very
but
true.
no, I had high hopes for Clemson because like everyone was ragging on him. They're like, Dabo's not like embracing the future, not using the portals, stuff like that. I
Yeah.
get holding on to tradition, but like if you don't move forward with the world, you get left
Well,
behind, and that's kind of what's happening.
if you actually listen to what he says, it's like pretty commendable, like how he's trying to frame it. it doesn't make sense from a football point of view, but like he's I guess how he's framing it is that he cares a lot more about the character and like the development of guys and things like that. And to be fair, that's how he's always recruited. And he's just had really good teams on top of that as well. But and he's still kind of holding on to that. He's like, yeah, our goal is to graduate players, to develop men, blah blah blah. But now he's not winning anymore. He's obviously getting a whole bunch of hate for that and stuff,
Right.
and just things that he said about the portal and other things like that have um, gained him a lot of detractors over the years. But if you actually kind of dive deeper into what he says outside of like the just hating on the portal and stuff, it's actually kind of commendable. But um,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Random fact.
not completely defending him, but I think he
Right.
definitely needs to dive into the portal. Just find some good guys in there to get on your
Yeah,
team or something.
there's some decent guys in there with good character. Like
Yeah, right.
get some like mid-major dudes or something. Like
Exactly.
they'll work hard for you, Dabo. Give them a chance. Yeah.
Right.
But no, that is commendable for sure. Kind of like that. I mean, that's part of the reason Nick Saban left college football, because I mean he was basically saying these guys are professionals. They come to school and they're like, how much can you give me, instead of like, how can I grow as a person? How can I get better as a football player? And how can I, just set my life up for success instead of
Same with
trying to
Coach K.
get success now. Yeah, exactly. All the old guard is slowly phasing out. I mean, I wouldn't want to put up with that. Like, if I was going to put up with that, I'd try to be a professional coach. Like, they don't pay
Yeah,
them enough to do
exactly.
that. Like, at what point do they have to start paying the coaches more? Because, like, this is going to get to the point where, like, some of these top prospects coming out of high school are getting paid outrageous amounts of money. Like,
Yeah.
I think
Well, they're
I
going
would
full
list.
speed towards like the football teams being their own
Yeah.
companies and just
Mhm.
paying them like professionals basically at this
Yeah,
point, which is
employees. Like,
so whack to me, but whatever.
yeah, it's gonna become like an amateur league. It's gonna be like a two-tier
Yeah.
system with the NFL at some point. Like, that's
Mhm.
just how it's gonna be. I mean, and then the NFL will probably buy them and be like, yeah, this is like our like, they'll just create it as like a farming system,
Yeah.
something like
Crazy.
that. It's all money, all about money.
Hmm.
There's no sanctity in sports anymore. Whatever.
Don't.
Moving along, we have the next game of note. Number 23 USC versus number 13 LSU. This was a good game. Did you watch this game, Sam?
I did watch most of the fourth quarter of this game,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah, yeah,
really good game.
huge. Did you see the Cochran Hudson catch?
Yes. Oh my
Like,
goodness.
dude, like I got a notification on Bleacher Report, and they're like, dude, they were like, USC Trojan wide receiver goes up and grabs it, like, and I'm just like, okay, this is probably like because like nowadays, like since OBJ had his like super
Yeah.
awesome one-handed catch, like, it happens all the time. Like they do it in
Yeah.
practice, but like this was like next level.
Insane.
Went up, mossed it, one hand. I saw it and I was just like, dude, that is
Yeah.
crazy.
And then he had after that, that was obviously out of this world by itself. But then in the fourth quarter, he had that one catch that they called
Mm.
targeting on the defender on top of that. So that was a
Yeah.
crazy catch on the sideline
Uh-huh.
or close to the sideline.
Yeah. No.
So I
Super.
mean, if he keeps doing stuff like that all year, he'll be a first round pick for sure.
Oh,
So
easily.
I mean,
Easily.
I have no idea, what class he is or anything like that, but yeah, good for him. It's
Yeah,
insane.
I have no idea either. Like college football, I don't pay very much attention. I'll watch it because I love sports, and like
Mhm.
there's obviously good games like this one. Because this one was pretty down to the wire. I mean, LSU tied
Oh
it
yeah,
tied
100%.
it with 2020 with a minute 47 left to play, and then obviously Woody Max ran
I
it in for like he was like 15 yards out, ran it in. There's
Yeah.
like 8 seconds left, and obviously no one's really gonna do that unless you're Mahomes. So
Yeah, obviously I didn't like I said, I only watched like the fourth quarter and half the third. And obviously the LSU is ranked 13, so I have a very, very small sample size to go off of. But LSU's quarterback, brother, like he needs to get it figured out because he was just like
Musmeyer,
missing. Oh yeah, Nussmeier, Garrett Nussmeier. He was missing guys left and right. I
yeah,
was like, dude, what are you doing? So
yeah,
like I said, super small sample size, but I was not impressed by what I saw
yeah.
from him. But
sometimes
Don't
it's
mean
sometimes it's downhill. Like I mean, you go from a Heisman Trophy winner to Garrett Musmeyer. So I mean, sometimes it just doesn't work out for you.
yeah.
Anyways, uh, this game wasn't like much of a game. I put it in the doc because of like the after effects of it. But Boston College drops number 10 Florida State, and the reason that I put it in, I kind of want to hear your opinion because obviously they got Clemson's former quarterback to come in and replace their quarterback from last year. Um, but I think I saw this stat where this is like the first time in like the first week where a team in the top 10 drops completely out of the top 25 or like hasn't
Hmm.
happened in like a long time. So like I don't know,
Yeah.
what's the downfall of Florida State right now?
I don't know, but they just suck.
They're
DJU
bad.
sucks. Florida State sucks. Their coach sucks. Like they just,
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on. They're off that huge high last year. They're like, oh, we got robbed. We're undefeated. Blah blah blah.
yeah,
And then they kind of what everybody thinks is like a reload, and they get DJU, and the
uh,
coach is still there. They still got a decent running back. Blah blah blah. Ranked 10th going in, and they play week 0 in Ireland, lose to Georgia Tech on a late field goal, and then
uh,
they drop to Boston College. And yeah, I saw the I saw that stat as well, where it's like the first team to ever drop from in the top 10 to all the way out in the first week. But I also saw another stat where it was like the first team to be 0-2 in week 1 of the college football season. So
right.
there's that too. So
Uh,
I don't know what's going on over there. I know DJU is not good at all. I
no,
mean, I don't know why they thought getting him was going to be good. He obviously kind of failed out of Clemson because he was so bad. Went to Oregon State, did okay up there. I think they had a winning season, but the Pac-12 isn't the ACC or a top 10. He wasn't at a top 10 school or anything like that. So, but yeah, I saw the one throw where he had a guy. I mean, 10 yards open, just threw it right over his head. I was like, oh my goodness.
yeah.
So I'm not sure what's going on Florida State, but whatever it is, it ain't good. So
It ain't it ain't good at all. And I think um Georgia Tech actually propelled up to 23rd. So like they
yep,
dropped out and Georgia
they're 2-0.
they're
Yeah,
2-0 and they're a big game against Syracuse though coming up. Big
I saw
big
that.
game.
That's this week.
I almost put it in the doc, but I was
Is it at
like it
Syracuse?
uh it might be. But dude, our quarter obviously we were playing Ohio last,
Oh
not
yeah.
Ohio State, but like Ohio University or whatever.
Yeah.
And like obviously they're not great, but
Yeah.
I mean our quarterback threw like 4 TDs, and that
Yeah.
like doesn't
You
happen
have
at Syracuse.
Well, you have a decent. He came from Ohio State. Your
He did
quarterback
come
did. You
from
have,
Ohio
you have a
State,
finally
man.
good quarterback, and that's at the Dome. So Georgia
Dude,
Tech got to bring it.
big game. Imagine we beat Georgia Tech around the up and up. That will be ranked, bro. We'll be ranked. We
Said,
were ranked
imagine
last
we
year
beat
though.
Georgia Tech. Listen to you,
Well,
bro.
the thing is
Imagine
like
we beat Georgia Tech.
Florida State's not that great.
Yeah.
And Georgia Tech beat them, so that kind of like in my mind minimizes Georgia Tech. So like, but I guess that would
I
minimize the Syracuse win too. But
Yeah.
I
Well, I
mean,
was
Georgia
talking to
Tech's ranked,
Pete
so
Pete a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about Syracuse, and he said that you guys don't play Clemson at all this year, which is a plus for you
ooh,
guys
that
because
is.
each of the last 2 years you're like 5-6-0. You play Clemson and you lose
Yeah,
you lose to Clemson, and then you lose every single
every
game
game,
after that,
every
and you're
game
like 6-7.
happens
So
every freaking year. Someone in scheduling figured it out this year and said we're
yeah,
not
we're
playing
not playing
Clemson at
Clemson,
we're
right?
not playing Clemson at all. But like this is the years you would want to play Clemson. But we're just
Yeah,
like, nah,
exactly,
we're not gonna play
exactly.
Clemson at all. We're done with that. We're done with that.
Right.
All right, last and final game to talk about. I don't know if you watched this game. I watched quite a lot of it, but not all of it. Number 7 Notre Dame takes on number 20 Texas A&M, and this was a good game all the way up to the end. That's kind of when I stopped
Yeah.
watching. Texas A&M had them on the ropes though. That would have kind of been embarrassing for the Fighting Irish.
It is or it isn't. It was at Kyle Field, so I think that's a huge advantage. I think that's a top 5
Oh,
hardest
for
places
sure.
to play in the
Oh yeah.
country. Notre Dame really showed up though towards the end. I think them picking up Riley Leonard from Duke was a huge pickup for
Big.
Notre Dame. So
Yeah.
he played pretty well most of that game, at least the game that the parts that I saw. But Texas A&M, I think they could have a good year this year, but They couldn't keep it together towards the end, but
Mm-hmm.
I think Notre Dame might finally have it together. They always kind of have, 8, 9, 10 win seasons and kind of fall apart around um, the big time games towards the end. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the pickup of Riley Leonard, I think, is a big one for them that could take them far.
Yeah, that's huge. And the landscape's different this year. You just got to be in that top 12 this year. Got to,
Exactly. Yeah, it's a
even
lot
though
different.
it's not quite that simple, but like as long as you're close to the top 10, you give yourself a chance near the
A
end of the
loss
year.
doesn't necessarily take you completely out anymore, which is a lot different. Like, I kind of think it takes it away just a little bit, just because I remember like every game you had to win to
Yeah.
like, like it was so huge. Whereas now it's like, you lost, like it's okay, next week kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is, I think,
Yeah.
there's plus sides to both of those. But anyways,
With that being said, do we think Florida State's like Dunzo?
yeah.
Like
I mean, after
like
the
with the
first game, no, but 0-2, you got to win every single game from here on out pretty convincingly to sneak back in.
yeah, and just the fact
Unless
that you
they
were
win
like
the
top 10.
ACC. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But like the fact that they were in the top 10 and now they're like not ranked at all, like like yeah, I don't think there's really any coming back from that because they'll look back at the beginning of the season and be like, okay, yeah, you kind of like won out your season, but like you dropped these games to these
Yeah.
opponents, and like Georgia Tech's good, and then you drop it to like Boston College. Like, when has Boston College ever been good in our lifetime? Like
Yeah. I
since
mean,
like I can remember. Like
yeah,
they're
they
not
have some
bad.
yeah. They have some good teams left on their schedule. I mean, they'll play Clemson, which probably by the time they play them, Clemson will be probably decently ranked by then, at least in the top 20, I would say. They still play Miami, they still play Notre Dame. So if they are somehow able to take care of business in those games, I think they'll probably be able to sneak back in, but I don't think they have really any margin for error after losing those first two. So
Yeah, yeah. Definitely, 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 definitely. Well, that's a wrap on this segment, guys. The NFL season again starts tonight. Ravens and Chiefs. We will be watching that game and the rest of the season. Do you have anybody playing tonight, Sam? You have Kelsey. Kelsey's playing tonight,
I got
right?
Kelsey, and then in one of my other leagues, I got Xavier Worthy. So
Yeah, I got Lamar playing in the second league, but we're excited for sure with all football in full swing after tonight. It's gonna be an exciting season. Can't wait.
hopping over the pond once again for some European football. Obviously, everybody's super hype about NFL coming back, but for weirdos like myself and Fez, we are also very hype about
That's right.
soccer being back. So we're going to
Mm-hmm.
dive into some Premier League action. Both Arsenal and Chelsea in action this past weekend. We'll start out with my team, Arsenal. We falter for the first time this season. I guess it's not a complete falter though, because it was just a tie, not a full loss to Brighton, which we always talk about being scrappy good team that's kind of in the top 6 to 7 spots basically every year now, which is solid for them. We were ahead 1-0 for most of this game. And then right after halftime, Declan Rice received a stupid red card. Did you see the second yellow on him?
I was gonna ask.
So dumb.
I started watching. I didn't watch the whole thing. I did tune in late, and I watched Brighton tie it. But like
Hmm.
Rice was already off at this point. It wasn't straight red. Obviously, you just said.
No.
Um, yeah.
So
So
he,
explain it. I didn't see what happened.
yeah, so the first yellow was just for a hard tackle in the first half, whatever, deserved yellow, yada yada. The second yellow, so there was basically a 50-50 ball in the corner. Um, I think Declan Rice was called for a foul. I forget if it was a foul or an offsides exactly, but basically, he's walking in front of where the ball is at the time, just because, I mean, he doesn't really have much interest in the ball. He's kind of just walking back. And
Mm-hmm.
then, the typical dark art stuff where like Brighton, they throw the ball ahead, they spin it and throw it ahead so they can just take it quickly. And while it's still rolling, which is technically illegal, he
Mm-hmm.
kicks the ball basically into Declan Rice. And Declan Rice is kind of like looking back as he's kicking it. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't think he even makes a move to block it, but like it's considered like, oh, you're stopping, a fast break or whatever. And so the ref comes over, boom, second
Oh
yellow, he's
my!
off. I was like,
Wow.
are you freaking serious right now? Like
Really?
yeah, that's basically all. I mean, Declan Rice was like, I mean, he wasn't an instigator. He wasn't like, I don't think completely innocent either. because he was kind of like around, like I think he was kind of walking in front, but at the same time, the ball is rolling. You can't play a rolling ball anyway. And the guy was
Right.
like, the way that the guy like threw the ball ahead, it was like intentionally to hit Declan Rice, and then as he kicks it into him to like make the whole.
Yeah.
It's just what everybody hates about soccer, like
Uh-huh.
American wise, when they're like, oh, that's stupid. That's why I don't watch the game. Blah blah blah. It was kind of one of those
Exactly.
things. And so it's just like it was so dumb, and like I think it was ridiculous to give a second yellow for that. Like if that's a
Absolutely.
if that's a an offense on a cardless player, maybe I could see a yellow, especially if it's like
Uh-huh.
blatant. But in my opinion, it wasn't that blatant, and it wasn't worthy of a second yellow. So um, it's kind of whatever for this game, even though we ended up tying. So obviously it came back to bite us a little bit. But I think even bigger news is that he'll miss the North London Derby next weekend. So
Wow,
that
that's
is,
huge.
yeah, that's huge news for us. Big time hole in the heart of
Yeah,
that
man.
midfield right now. So
Yeah. Yeah,
um,
that's dude, like after hearing that, dude, if that happened to my team,
yeah,
I would feel so like it sounds to me like obviously again I didn't watch the game, I didn't watch the build up, but it sounds just like from what you're explaining, like was the ref like kind of like had it out for him? Like was Rice like instigating the whole game and he was kind of just fed up
I
with him at this
mean,
point and was like he wanted him off or like
I wouldn't say
what?
that really. Obviously, he's our CDM, so he's involved in a lot of tackles and stuff. But
Right.
I mean, the first one was an obvious yellow card. Like he's going in
Hmm.
hard, kind of. He gets there a tad late, takes the player out. I can see why that's a yellow. But
Hmm.
I wouldn't say he really had it out for us, except for that one incident where he was just like, boom, second yellow. So um,
Right.
it seemed pretty okay and above board. But um, yeah, I didn't seem too egregious, except for that
Yeah,
one play.
that
The fact
that's
I think it's
ridiculous.
dumb that he went to I believe if I'm not mistaken, he went to the video and looked at that and still said it was second
What?
yellow. I was like, brother, what are we doing
Dude.
here? But
Oh my
whatever.
gosh. Oh,
So
yeah,
anyway, we
what is
tied
going on?
with Brighton, so that's our first tie. We have two wins and a tie. So that's our first drop points of the year. We also acquired Raheem Sterling, which don't even get me started, brother.
No, go into it.
Um,
I want to hear this. I want to hear
I
this.
I was at work when I have a buddy at work who's a big Arsenal fan too. He's like, dude, you see we might sign Sterling? I was like, dude, no way. And this was like a day before it happened, and then the next day it was like confirmed that it's only a loan, which is good. I'm
Yeah.
so tired of us taking like just
Scraps.
sloppy seconds and yeah, scraps from the other big six clubs. We did it with David Luiz. We did it with Petr Cech. Why is it always these washed Chelsea players that we get? Raheem
It really is.
Sterling. Raheem Sterling's been at like every big six club now. He's been to Liverpool. He's been to Chelsea. Now he's at Arsenal. Like what on earth, dude? So
Dude,
I
really, he
think
just needs Bad U to complete the
basically
gauntlet.
he
Holy
was at
cow.
Man City. Dude, that's insane. But yeah, just I think he's washed. I don't think
Yeah.
he better not start anything. If he's anywhere near the first 11, I want Mikel Arteta out.
Yeah, like
But
who's he playing over? Like
I
you
don't
already
think
have
any.
Martinelli,
I think
Saka.
he is coming in on a bench role. He has to. There's no
He
way.
has
But
to. Like
some
because
Carabao Cup
behind
game.
dude, for real. Oh my
But
gosh. You guys drop out of the Champions League and he's playing
yeah,
Europa minutes.
yeah, exactly.
Dude, that's
Um,
wild.
but I was just like, dude, I would rather sign just a young, like up and coming, promising winger
Yeah.
than just sign that guy. But anyway, whatever.
Yeah, it just
It's
seems like
fine.
it just seems like a waste of a move because
It
like
is.
like you just said, if you sign an up and coming winger, like he's not expecting to start over like Saka on the right side or Martinelli or
Hmm.
Trossard on the left, and he can learn under them. So like it's an advantage to you like later on when these guys do get old. Like Raheem Sterling's been around, done that. There's no growing
Yeah.
whatsoever.
And
Like all it does is
yeah,
give you depth, but he plays on the left side. You already have enough depth on the left side.
right. And his skill level's going down. So I think the level that he's at right now, we could easily get somebody else from Europe, even on a loan. We only got him on loan, so we could get
Yeah,
another teenager on loan, maybe with an option to buy even that'll be just as good and better than him. So I don't really
exactly.
know what's going on with that, but like I said, it's just a loan. So really hoping we don't decide to buy him because I don't know what we're doing if we do that. But
Yeah.
so that's kind of a recap of Arsenal, but that's kind of what we got going on. Obviously going into the international break here. But let's hop on over to Chelsea. What do we got going on with the old Blues?
Another day, another draw. Another day, another draw, man. I wasn't able to watch this game because, dude, I think it's like the American push. Like, Bully's doing something, but it's always on Sundays. We always play
Mm.
Sunday. And I'm always in church, so I always like miss the game. That's a lot of always, anyways. Um, no, it was a good first half. Like, we actually looked like a decent side. Obviously, a good work play, yeah, that's how you say it.
Yeah,
Am I
you
saying that
actually
right?
nailed it.
Medwake. Wow. I'm not used to
I
getting these
love
things
how
right,
I love
Sam.
how sometimes you just butcher it, you just keep going, and then when you actually get it right, you're like,
I'm
wait,
like,
that's not right.
man, that can't be right. That can't be right. I'm more like second guessing myself that I got it right, like
Yeah,
not the name itself.
right.
Anyways, he had a good ball to Palmer, which had an even better ball to Jackson. And if Jackson misses that, I honestly wouldn't be surprised. But it was a tap in from literally
Mm.
like 3 feet out, so obviously he was able to roll that in. Second half, obviously Palace had to chase the game, so they were putting a lot of pressure on us. We have a good defense. Like, our CBs might not have too much experience. Well, Fofana has experience. And then Cucurella on the left side's pretty good. But no, they put a lot of pressure on us. But dude, did you see the goal from Eze?
Mm-mm. Nope.
Dude, like probably like 20 yards out, curler, top of the box, like beautiful. Like, I shouldn't be as excited as I am because it was scored against my team,
Right.
but like beautifully worked. Like, it wasn't beautifully worked, but like beautiful
Just a
technique
rocket.
to just
Yeah.
right around Sanchez, and I was just like, dude, like that's just I can't be mad at that. Like, that's just really really good. Then obviously
Yeah.
we ended up in a draw, 1-1. There's not much left to
Not
say.
much to say.
Which with Chelsea, we're drawing against like I'm pretty sure this was like their second string midfield that was in too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
their whole midfield's like in shambles, and we're just
Did
we can't beat the teams that we should beat. Again, Crystal
did
Palace is that one of those mid-table teams that you don't want to play, like
mm-hmm.
Brighton, but
Yeah.
we're Chelsea. We spent $1 billion on these players. Like, figure it out.
Right. Did you see that you guys barely squeaked into the conference league groups as well? You were playing Servette from
Serve that.
Switzerland, I believe.
Yeah, like
Went in
who, what, where?
with a 2-0 aggregate lead going into the second leg at their place, lose 2-1 after they were up two to
Yeah,
zero at one point.
yeah.
Bro, that is conference league, first of all. Qualies for conference league.
Dude, we're
And
playing in a competition that they specifically set up for the little guys to get in, and we're
yep,
barely getting out of the first two legs. Like,
yeah.
you have got to be like, obviously, we're not like, he switches up the lineup quite a bit, but we still got like Palmer playing, Medweke. Like, we still got like
Enzo
some first team.
Fernandez, Moises
We got some first
Caicedo,
team
all those
guys
guys.
playing, and it's just like, what are we doing?
Right.
Like, what is happening
Nkunku
at
was
Chelsea?
playing. Yeah, everybody.
Exactly.
Right.
I don't know. Barely got out. Barely got out.
And
But that's all
still
I got to
still
say.
technically lost to Servette in the second leg 2-1.
Yeah. Dude, the
So
passivity is just so real with this team.
there's
So
no
real.
no culture,
It
no
hurts.
urgency.
It
But
hurts. It really hurts.
anyways, we'll see how Chelsea do in the coming weeks. Maybe they'll use this international break to kind of get things together. Not like they haven't had an entire season or anything or off season, but it's
Uh-huh.
okay. Uh, we'll kind of move right into some of the other big games of the weekend here in the Prem. The biggest rivalry of all in the Premier League, Liverpool, Man U. More heartbreak for the Red Devils in big time games. They lose 3-0 in this one. Ten Hag just piling on that pressure, man. Piling on the pressure. He just can't help himself. But I don't know if you saw this game. It was a little bit later on Sunday, so I was able to watch most of the second half of this one. One of the
Yeah.
first things that I noticed was just Casemiro was awful.
Oh,
I think I
terrible.
said this last week, but some games he's just absolutely world class. And it's like, okay, you won 5 Champions League. I can see that. And then the next game you're just like, dude, you need to retire. Like, just hang
Yeah.
him up. Like,
Just be
I don't
done.
understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Did you see after the game, when he got subbed off, his wife actually did put on her story
I
like all of his
did.
trophies.
Savage.
I was like, Okay, that's like in the
That's the
past. Like
life
as
you want.
dude, facts, but like as a football fan, I'm sitting there like, dude, he's like single-handedly like losing them this first half.
Yeah.
Like
No,
he needed to come off.
I definitely felt like that was a little bit of a Clay moment, even though it didn't even come from him. Like the four rings kind of thing or whatever.
Right? Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean,
Uh,
yeah, you can't excuse that
just,
kind of performance for sure.
but dude,
But I don't know if you had any more
huge
takeaways from
flex.
the game.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Huge what? I'm sorry. Yeah.
Can you? Okay. I was making sure you could hear me. Like we lagged out there for a second. Anyways,
Yeah.
gotta love the internet. My internet,
Hmm.
anyways. Gotta upgrade. But I did watch the game. I was able to watch this Sunday because my son was born and we didn't go to church. Then
Oh,
I
that's
had him
right.
I had him resting on my chest and watching the game, and I was like starting the ritual out every weekend. This is where we'll be, boy.
That's
You're
right.
gonna love this stuff. But no, I did watch this game, and dude, once the first goal went in for Liverpool, it was just kind of done and dusted. Like they honestly could have scored like five or six. They were like a
Mm.
like just like barely missing some of the goals. Um, Mo Salah played like super well. Like it kind of looked
Yeah.
like the Salah of old. Did you see his comments after the game though?
Yeah, that might be his last one.
And all of Liverpool's like freaking out, but like I
Yeah.
mean, it's got to
I would
happen
be
at some
okay with
point.
him moving on. If I was a Liverpool fan, he's getting up there. So
To Saudi though, I really hope he doesn't go to
yeah,
Saudi.
he probably
Like he
will.
could,
He's from that area. So,
truly, he'll just go home and make $1 billion, like
yeah.
whatever. But no, dude, it was. I mean, I low key kind of like Liverpool, and they kind of haven't missed a beat with their new manager.
Yeah, he's been
Um,
crazy good. They haven't conceded a goal yet, I don't believe,
he
in the
came
Prem.
from
So
Eredivisie, right?
yeah, it wasn't Ajax though. It was
Feyenoord, I think.
Feyenoord, correct? Yeah, they had a
Yeah.
crazy run. I think they were undefeated most of the season.
Yeah.
So crazy good run by them. And then the last game we'll touch on here is West Ham Man City. Just another dub for Man City. Not really much to report here. Holland hat trick. Holland already
That
has,
boy.
I believe, 7 goals, which
It
is
was a machine.
outscoring like half of the other league right now as far as total goals scored. So
Insane.
absolutely insane. Just more machine stuff for Man City. Really, just
Yeah.
win after win. Absolutely stacked team. So
Yeah, I
um,
didn't put this in the doc, but did you see again just showing that Barcelona is just like their finances are in shambles. They're playing well right now, which we'll get to,
mhm,
but their finances, they had to send Gundogan back on a free to
mhm.
Man City and like just like Man City's just like plug and play. We need to bolster our,
Yeah,
our midfield, and he's
yep.
like just wild. It just
I
shows more that Barcelona's just like does not have it figured
yeah.
out in the financial department.
Right. I think they had to get rid of a couple other players as well, on the way to, it wasn't just Gundogan. But I think that's such a weak move by Gundogan though. Obviously
Mm,
Barcelona need to get rid of him, but for him to just go like cowering back to Man City after he was like, all right, new challenge, I'm gonna go to Barcelona, is there
right.
for one season, doesn't win anything with them, doesn't raise the level at all for them, and then he just goes cowering back to Man City where they've got this stacked squad that he can just like, he goes back to Pep where he's been the last 6, 7 years. I'm just like, dude,
Mm-hmm.
come on now,
Yeah.
challenge yourself a little bit. But like,
Yeah.
you could have gone to a lot of other teams, but um, you know, I guess I can't fault him. Maybe I don't want to just join with the former champs that are winning year in year out, but
Right. Exactly.
um,
Exactly. Oh
but
well.
yeah,
Oh well.
it's interesting. You touch on Barcelona. That's where we're going next. We'll go to Spain. Barcelona with a very convincing 7-0 victory over newly promoted Real Valladolid. Hansi Flick has the boys buzzing.
Oh
Did
yeah.
you see this game, or you
I
just kind of watch the
didn't.
highlights?
I didn't watch the highlights on this one, but I did see the 7-0 thrashing. And that's how you
Yep,
should handle a newly promoted team. Like obviously last
absolutely.
week we were talking about, or 2 weeks ago we were talking about AC Milan playing I think it was like Parma or something like that, who had just been promoted and tying one yeah, tying 1-1 with them. Barcelona's just like, "Hey, welcome to La Liga.
Mm,
We'll show
yeah.
you the door at the
I,
end of the season."
yeah, I can't remember the last time I saw Barcelona win that convincingly, but even more than like 2 or 3 goals, really. So, solid
Yeah.
stuff by them. As you kind of noted here, Barca front three doing very well so far this season. Lewandowski 4 goals, Rafinha 3 goals, 2 assists, Yamal with a goal and 4 assists so far. I really like that. You know, I'm not totally sold on Yamal quite yet, but I love that he's always trying to get everybody else involved, passing a lot. I think
Yeah.
in the Euros, he's passing almost too much, where he had clear opportunities to score and he'd like lay it off for someone else. So I don't know if that's, him being super selfless, which is probably a good thing, or just being scared to actually shoot. But
Yeah.
no,
Oh,
good
he's not
stuff.
scared to shoot. We saw that banger in the
That
Euros.
was really
He's not
nice.
scared
Yeah,
to shoot.
yeah, you're probably right. But yeah, solid stuff from Barca. Like you said, signed Danny Olmo, had to get a couple players off their books to do so, but we'll kind of see how they fare up against some more legitimate competition. Obviously, they've kind of played some lower level opponents here so far, but we'll kind of see what happens when they play the likes of Atletico and Real Madrid. And speaking of Real Madrid, our boy Kylian Mbappe finally up and running in La Liga.
Getting it
Took him a few games, but he scores a double in this game, one from the penalty spot and another from open play to win 2-0 against Real Betis, who aren't slouches, not the best of teams, but they have some decent guys back there, some OGs that some of us might remember. Mark Bartra that used to play for Barcelona. Isco's over there now. So some decent players, but Madrid kind of roll over them here. I'm not sure if you watched this game at all. Probably not, but
No,
I didn't even really watch it. But
yeah, I used to keep up with La Liga quite a bit.
yeah,
Definitely more when Ronaldo and Messi were there. That was the golden age of La Liga for
hmm
sure.
I will say that since they have Mbappe now, I try to be tuned into even those La Liga games just because he's obviously a spark plug. So
Yeah,
he's fun to watch.
definitely a must watch in that league for sure.
Definitely. Last thing here, before we head over to Germany, is this James Rodriguez that you have in here?
Yeah,
He's
James.
signing with Rio?
Yeah, he's back in
Bruh,
La
he
Liga.
could have done better than
He
that,
definitely could
fam.
have. He
Oh,
definitely could have done better. But I'm just glad he's not like in China or Saudi. Like I'm glad that he made a
I
move to like
guess, but
a
Rio,
respectable
dude,
league.
they're gonna go
Respectable league.
down.
Yeah, but he's in a respectable league. Like at least he's not playing in like China or something, man. Like just
True.
getting the bag. He's just like he had the taste of the good life in
Like
Copa.
Oscar.
Yeah,
He's
dude,
still in China,
that's
dude.
wild.
Can you imagine how much
It-
money he's made by now?
So much money,
Yeah.
money we can't even think of. Wild.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah,
I
just
know
put
that
that in there.
he's been asked a few times since then, like why he's gone over there. Like even like a few people are like, you go over there 2 or 3 years and then come back, and he's like, nah, you gotta put your family first and blah blah blah. I was like, dude, you're sitting on like 250 mil probably by this point. Like
How old is he?
you're so greedy. He's only like just past 30, I think, by now.
Really? He's like in
Yeah,
prime, dude. Like,
exactly. And like he spent all of his like basically 25 to 30 something now in China after he left Chelsea. So
yeah, he was popping off at Chelsea back
he was
in
really
the day.
good at Chelsea. I remember in that 2014 World Cup when they got thrashed by Brazil too. He scored the only goal Brazil scored in that game against Germany.
Oh no! Oh
But
no!
anyway, good for him. I'm glad he's back. Maybe I'll catch a Rayo Vallecano game here and there. So he's still got. Who's even serving up over there? They still got a striker. Is Falcao still there? I know he was at Rayo for a little
Oh,
bit.
I can't remember. He might be. He might be. That's a good one to look up.
I don't think that he is, but I could be wrong. Yeah, he's not. He just left.
Just left.
But anyway, good for him. Solid stuff. Heading over to Germany, Bayer Leverkusen, not Bayern, Bayer Leverkusen. Obviously coming off a huge unbeaten streak in the old Bundesliga, going back to last year. Finally gets broken up by Red Bull Leipzig. Solid game, but obviously ending their 35-game unbeaten streak. What say you about the incredible streak and the end to it?
It had to come to an end at some point. I mean, better to do it against RB Leipzig than some like mid-table team in the Bundesliga. I think they'll still be running, like have a shot for. I mean, they didn't lose too many. They didn't lose too many pieces. They still have their best pieces, and I mean, they can just start back where they left off. I mean, the pressure's off now, like because like like you win that many games, you have that long of a win streak that like you start building this pressure of like, oh, we can't lose a game. Now you lost a game, you can just get back to
Yeah,
playing
that's true.
playing
Lose it
football. So
early.
yeah, so I think it'll work in their favor.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I was going to say that's the most impressive thing about this team. Like usually, I mean, Bayer Leverkusen isn't quite like a Monaco, or it's kind of like a, lightning in a bottle kind of a thing. They've always kind of been at least in Europe and kind of hanging around kind of thing. But just the fact that most of their players are still there, they haven't been picked off by the bigger teams quite yet. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll probably happen after this year.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously most of those players really love playing for Xabi Alonso. He's obviously still there. They still have Verts. They still have their back line. So all their core players are still there. So we'll see if they're able to make another run at that Bundesliga title. But that being said, Bundesliga, just thought I'd mention this really quick that the top three in the Bundesliga are the only teams that still have maximum points after 2 match days. We have Bayern, Leipzig, and Heidenheim are
Heidenheim.
right at the top.
Wow.
They were the first team not to be relegated last year. So they're flying high. All their fans, they're actually in first place because they have a goal differential of 6-0. So all their fans are taking
Wow.
screenshots of the table right now,
Yeah.
as I would do if my team was at the
Facts.
top. So
Oh my gosh,
um
facts.
but anyway, I just thought I'd touch on that really quick. And yeah, I always like watching the German league. A lot of passion over there. So we'll see how
Yeah.
their league kind of pans out. But that being said, we're heading into an international break now. I'm not even sure if the U.S. really plays or anything like that. I know they got Nations League over in Europe. Ronaldo scoring again for Portugal. I saw that pop up on my phone today. So he's up to 900 goals, by the way. That wasn't
That's
even in the doc,
insane.
but 900 goals. Absolutely
Wow.
crazy. But
That's crazy.
um,
The
yeah.
U.S. does have actually 2 matches, and I think they're trying to get the Pochettino deal done. Still hold up with Chelsea
Ugh.
on his
Imagine it
unserved
falls
funds.
through.
Uh,
Imagine it falls
that
through,
would be
brother.
the most U.S. men's national team thing to happen. Is like we sign like the best coach that we could possibly get that's on the market, and it just
Imagine
falls
it's
through.
over like whatever they have to pay Chelsea whatever, but Matt Crocker be like, yeah, Pochettino wanted $14 million a year, but we were more at 12, and just we couldn't make it happen.
Right. Oh my gosh. But the US does have 2 games. I think it's Panama and Canada.
Wow,
Which
really, really playing to the
the Canada
playoffs
game
there.
will be interesting, not because they're a good like a super good team. I mean, they made the semis, but like I mean, Copa America, we could have that whole spiel. But
Yeah,
Jesse
Jesse
Marsh,
Marsh.
obviously the coach of the Canadian national team, that'd just be a I mean, imagine he beats the US in a
Yeah,
friendly, which it won't be very friendly, to be completely honest, with Pochettino at the helm. Like the Jesse
yeah.
Marsh troops will just be out all over the internet. Should have snatched him. Should have got him. Like,
Bro, it would be so on par for Pochettino. Like I know he's not there yet, but for his first game to be against Canada and for him to lose a game like that, like that's like Canada's your typical mid-table side. There's scrappy, could beat you on a good day. That's the kind of teams that Poch loses against. So
dude, for real. It's just like again, it's like a CONCACAF friendly, so it's like who cares? But just the
right.
storylines in it make it pretty intriguing. Like not gonna lie, like the Panama game, people will try to hype up like, oh, Panama's the team we lost to that kind of knocked us out. Like
Yeah.
no one cares. We'll probably done and dust them because like we're not playing for anything, so all our guys will show up and
Uh,
play well because that's usually what happens. But the Canada
uh,
game, I'm definitely gonna try to watch that one, especially
yeah,
if Poch is on the sideline.
definitely. I just still love Jesse Marsh. Are all our big boys there?
They have
Pulisic and all them guys?
I think so, which
Okay.
I think that's kind of saying, I think people looked at that because they said if the roster was more MLS and like younger guys, then Poch probably wasn't going to get like over the line.
Mm.
But the fact that they're there, they'll probably, they, they're hoping that he'll be there and it looks like it's closer. But we'll
Solid.
see. Like you said, it's America, so we could still see this thing blow up in our face and back to square one, and we'll be on our knees begging for Berhalter again or something. Imagine they hire
I
him
will
again.
never be in
I
that
would,
position.
I
Sorry.
would, I would, if they hired Berhalter again, I would drop the U.S. men's national team
There's no
so
way.
fast. I would be
Even
like,
if
what clown show are we running here?
even if Potch didn't, I cannot see them
They
hiring
wouldn't.
him
They
for the
wouldn't. But
third time.
I'm just saying, like, imagine, like, we have plenty of
They would
people
go
that want the
crawling to
job.
Jesse Marsh hopefully before they would go back to
Yeah.
Greg.
Sounds like those bridges are burned.
Yeah,
I think
Marsh has
those are
some bad blood with
ashes.
them
Like
boys.
they're gone. They're gone. Blew up. Never to
I
be.
want to see Marsh back in the Prem, dude. The vibes that he had
Dude.
with Leeds United and a couple other American dudes on his team, unmatched. Getting up
Yeah.
on a Saturday morning, watching some American boys kick some
That's
tail
right.
in England, that was lit.
Yes. And Leeds USA. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. All
Oh
right.
man,
Well, I'd say that's a pod.
it is a pod.
1 year of the podcast. We thank you guys for rocking with us for
Yep,
1 year. The
all
faithful,
10 of you.
all 10 of you, the faithful. Sydney, sometimes our wives, here and there. Mike, Logan, all you guys. We appreciate you guys. Our 2 views that we listen to on the way to work the next day every day. But no,
So true.
but no, we really appreciate the people that do listen, and we're continuing to do it. Whether we have 5 views, 100 views, or 1 million views. 1 million views would be really great though, but
Got a
we're gonna
little
continue
ways
to
for
do it
that.
because we really enjoy this. It's just fun for us to do. But we got a football game to watch, Sammy.
Yes, sir.
We got a football game, so we'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, peace.
Peace.